Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I'm going to do something interesting in the group at the end of this video. When I was at XRP Las Vegas, I had a conversation with a CEO, and I was told that he was going to be doing an XRP valuation, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I've touched on it before, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the group, and I think this will be, you'll find this pretty fascinating what he said. You can join by going to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or click join right here below any of my YouTube videos. If you'd rather join through YouTube, folks, the market is starting to take off here. We've got a, look at this, a $2.30 XRP. If you haven't positioned yourself like I have, I made sure that I had my stuff positioned with Caleb and Brown, my affiliate partner. Go to xrpwealth589.com. I have a broker I can talk to. I can send them an email, and within minutes, these guys will do a trade on my behalf. If you're tired of the exchanges and all that, where all you have is a support email or just a support system or whatever, I mean, when this thing starts flying, the regular exchanges lock up, and you don't have anybody to talk to. It can get really scary, especially when the prices are going nuts and you're thinking, maybe I want to sell. Not at Caleb and Brown, it's different, and you get the institutional custody. xrpwealth589.com. Check it out. That'll take you to the sign-up page on Caleb and Brown. Yeah, we've got 3.36 trillion in the market. We got an XRP at 230. Bitcoin's moving on up too. Everything's kind of moving on up. Something's happening here. Folks, I think that there will probably be a run up when they realize this Genius Act's passing. As we know, Mike Novogratz bets dimes to donuts, which means he acts on information that you and I don't have when he's making his investment decisions. Here, it looks like he's betting dimes to donuts. This Genius Act is a done deal.
Yeah, we've got the votes. It's going to pass. It's done with it would take a really surprising lightning bolt from somewhere we're not seeing to sink it. Okay. It is broadly done.
So it's done.
You can 99% it. It's in the can.
It's done 99%, and that's good that it's coming from the Senate, because it's hard to get things through the Senate versus the House, and it has to be kicked back to the House and voted on there, of course, right? And the whole kind of legislative process that would go through. But the Senate was the hard one. So what's the difference between basically the Senate a year ago and the Senate of today? I think we're pretty clear on the Republican side, but
why we are set up as the crypto industry well is Democrats realized too late in the election, they should have listened to yours truly, at least in this one quote, which I stole from someone else, by the way. Whoever gave that quote on Twitter the first time, or on X, thank you. But it was, there are more people that own crypto in America than own dogs. And I at least amplified that. I got still credit. I was like, listen, and the Democratic Party had become the party against dogs. I was like, guys, what are you doing? Crypto is beloved by so many people. Like, it should be a bipartisan technology, not a political weapon. And the Dems got it late, and they tried to scramble, but they were so scared of their own shadows. And Elizabeth Warren had held hostage this party. They got angry at her. Let me tell you, everyone was angry at her by the end. And all of a sudden, you have Bernie Moreno upset, what had been a stalwart, Democratic senator in Ohio. You had Trump raise tremendous amounts of money from the crypto community. The crypto community and the tech community became synonymous almost, and they all shifted to the right. And so if you looked at the aftermath of the election and you sat with Dems, which I did, they all thought, crypto actually might have cost us the election. And so they don't want to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
The smart people are like, we want to get crypto off the agenda. We're not probably going to win it, but if we pass these two bills, there's nothing to talk about.
It's coming. Look at this. I think this is coming too. And I mentioned that XRP Las Vegas will be transitioning to try to get, I think there's conversations going on already, some of the, what in the past have been Bitcoin maxis to come. And I don't mean, when I say Bitcoin maxis, I don't mean the psychos that think Bitcoin's the only digital asset and all that. Not the psychos like Max Kaiser, you know, like these kind of comments. This person says, what is a silent killer that people don't realize is slowly killing them? And then he retweets and says XRP. The fear is real. The idea that one coin must dominate all others ignores the power of collaboration and innovation and interoperability. This guy says, interoperability isn't a threat to Bitcoin, it's a catalyst for growth. Who literally created the term interoperability? That would be Chris Larson from Ripple. Look at Circle, folks. This thing is not stopping. It's still having killer days in a row. That doesn't mean it's going to stay up. It can fluctuate and all that. But that's a real good thing for what's coming, because it's going to get Wall Street all excited about crypto IPOs. And trust you me, the digital assets will also get bullish. They'll get bullish on those too. As Circle surges post IPO, ProShares and Bitwise file Circle-based ETFs. You're going to see this with a bunch, and you're also going to see a bunch of mergers and acquisitions, folks. Ex-military intelligence Anthony Pompliano did his duty today and went on CNBC to talk about Bitcoin.
I think there's three things that people want Bitcoin to be. They want it to be a store of value, a medium of exchange, and a unit of account. See things priced in Bitcoin eventually. In order to get there, what we are seeing is that Bitcoin is succeeding and the US dollar is succeeding. They're both strengthening together, and it is the weak fiat currencies that are kind of falling at the feet of those two. Now, one of the things that stablecoins have brought to the market is there's a lot of people around the world that say, I would like to use Bitcoin as a savings account. I call it a digital savings account. I would like to spend something that is not going to be worth more in the future. And so I'll use the digital dollar and these dollar stablecoins. And so if you think about today, the average finance user, they have a savings account, they have a checking account, and they have a brokerage account. That's what we're basically seeing recreated in the digital world. You're saving in Bitcoin, you're spending in stable coins, and then you are going and you're speculating on whatever assets you want in your portfolio. What I think the big question becomes, and I don't have the answer, I don't think anyone does yet, is as we continue to see the destruction of the purchasing power of the US dollar, are we going to see people start to price things in Bitcoin? Now, I don't think that's something that's going to happen in 1, 3, maybe even 5 years, but I do think that there is a growing group of people who say, look, this thing called Bitcoin is ultimately going to be a store of value, as it already is, but it will become a medium of exchange as well. It just needs to get to a point where the world all agrees on what is it worth. And if you think in 2018, the world thought it was worth $3,000 a coin. Today, the world thinks it's worth $105,000 a coin. It's going to continue to go higher, and at some point it will reach some market equilibrium. And then when you see that switch over into, okay, now things are priced in Bitcoin, I think that's kind of the hyper-Bitcoinization that the Bitcoiners are waiting for. But there is a long path to get there, and the sequence right now is, why would I want to spend my Bitcoin if it's going to be worth more in the future? Right? I want to spend the dollars that are going to be worth less in the future.
Now, what he didn't tell you is that Bitcoin's had a regulatory monopoly all this time, and now with legislation, that regulatory monopoly will be coming to an end. You haven't seen a real market yet. I keep saying it. I told my group this story last week, but I'll tell you, I'm not going to play this Peter Schiff video. But as you know, Peter Schiff went to Bitcoin Las Vegas. He goes to Bitcoin Las Vegas, and he does it, and he stands there. He's got a booth. I literally talked to him. He stands there, he's got a booth, and all he does is debates with Bitcoin maxis and tells them how it's worthless and all that. Now, I think he's just doing this as a tactic to snipe views that he could get by talking about Bitcoin, and he's done well with it. He also gets to speak there, but I also think Peter Schiff's part of the op. I walked up to Peter Schiff. This is a true story, and it was wild. I walked up to Peter Schiff, and he was sitting there telling all these Bitcoin maxis how Bitcoin was worthless and all. I walked up to him and I said, hey, Peter, I'm the only guy here that's going to agree with you. You and the central banks are accumulating gold while all the media will tell everybody about is Bitcoin. He's like, yeah. And then I looked at him and I said, isn't this Bitcoin thing nothing but a government op? And when I said that, and he really heard me talk, I don't know if he's listened to me or not, but when I said that, he looked like he had seen a ghost, and his body language was unbelievable. He immediately turned his body back towards the Bitcoin maxis and didn't talk to me one more time. That's a true story. It happened, and I believe it meant something. Let's see here. This has been going around here, the Ripple RLUSD advisory board. Here's who's on it. Of course, Chris Larson. Then you got Sheila Bair, who used to be at the FDIC, the Treasury, and the CFTC. David Puth, who was a senior advisor at Circle. He's been at R3, JP Morgan. Kenneth Montgomery, Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, FedNow. Raghuram Rajan, who was the governor of the Reserve Bank of India, chief economist at the IMF. For all you adults out there, it's pretty clear to see why we thought that it would be important to talk about Ripple and XRP for the last 7 years. I'm not here for cartoon monkeys and green candles. I'm here for the digital asset that changes the entire financial system and always have been. Smoke is on fire, no pun intended. Here he's got a Harvard paper where it's called the Harvard presentation, and it shows in here Visa digital fiat currency settlement patent as an example of a blockchain-based system that utilizes XRP and XLM, a simple blockchain-based cross-border digital currency transaction using XRP or XLM. Visa International Service Association. And then he put another one out. Ripple has no direct competitors in the crypto space, as it is fundamentally different from most cryptocurrencies thanks to ILP and RippleNet. And he always has documents to back it up. And then he put this video out today. It's coming, folks.
Policy at Plaid drops a bombshell. Once that stablecoin framework is in place, traditional financial institutions are going to start seeing a pathway to use stablecoins in back offices, balance sheets, bank-to-bank transfers, and a replacement or alternative to SWIFT. Massive confirmation. This comes from Smoke. Once stablecoin legislation passes, the floodgates open. Banks will have a green light to ditch traditional rails and move directly into stablecoin systems. They're also going to connect to RippleNet technology as well as an alternative to SWIFT. The banks don't like SWIFT. People act like these 11,000 SWIFT customers are happy customers. They're not. When something is very expensive and it takes days for a transaction to complete, people already were looking for an alternative.
There you have it. Look at this. AltSeason will come and XRP will explode. Bitcoin dominance is in the rising wedge, getting closer to the apex. No pun intended. Within the next 3 months, we will see a shift from Bitcoin to altcoins. I do believe that. Okay. In the group today, you're going to want to hear this one. We're going to talk about XRP valuations. You're not allowed to do XRP valuations unless you're Susan Athey and Robbie Mitchnick. But unfortunately for the XRP Gestapo who says you're not allowed to do valuations because you're not legitimate unless you're Susan Athey and Robbie Mitchnick. Unfortunately for those people, you're about to see a lot of XRP valuations, and I believe they're going to come from Wall Street. I actually talked to one of the Wall Street guys at XRP Las Vegas. I'm going to tell you what he said and what I'm going to do, and because I will be showing, I believe we're going to get access to it. So go to DAIXRP.com in the Patreon to join the Patreon, or click the join button below any of my YouTube videos, and you can join through YouTube. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.